welcome to a very quick video, because yesterday a new roadmap appeared and we got two new These champions and we got a lot of visual updates, because Riot said that this season there will be a lot more visual updates than new champions, which makes sense because we are nearing, like what, 150, 160 champions? So obviously adding new champions is nice, but it is more important to bring the older champions back to line. So we are gonna have a look at what champions are getting updated, and we are gonna have a look at what kind of champions we can expect based on these teasers. So the first image in this post is a teaser for a new champion. Now, we know that this champion is a rather colorful mage, as it is called right here, that won't stay hidden for too much longer. Now, here, I would say it is possible that this might be a play on the words, which I hope it is not, because that won't stay hidden for too much longer, I hope. Jesus Christos, please, please not another stealth champion, because we got Pyke recently, we got Akali right after him, so no more stealth, because this is a mage on top of it. It's a colorful mage. So a mage with a stealth, that would be quite something. But it's also possible that it's just saying that this champion will appear on the PBE very soon. You know, he won't stay hidden for too much longer. That makes sense that he would now appear on PBE, because let's be honest, Pyke appeared on PBE. What was it? 2 months ago now? 3 months? Was it already a quarter of a year? No. Yes? No? No. I was in the old place. Well, it was a while ago, but still. So, just based on this image, I thought two things might happen. First of all, we see flowers, and flowers are very, and I mean very iconic of a place that we know as Ionia. Hold on, I will do a full screen so it's easier for you to see. Now, here's one problem. While Ionia is very typical for flowers, because it's basically, you know, nature and, you know, blooming, you know what I mean. But the issue is that Ionia has much wilder flowers, while it would make sense that the other flower, this one is, you know, just beauty. And those flowers do exist in Ionia as well, but you can see that they are a little bit more unique. So I would almost say that the flower that is shown in this teaser may not be actually Ionian, despite flowers being very typical for Ionia. Also, if you look at the little symbol beneath the flowers, you can notice that it's like a little ovally, you know, not complete circle. It's almost like a moon with little spikes on top of it. Some people say that it might be a combination of the moon and the sun, which would mean that it would have to be another Targonian. And after we got, you know, the Darkin and we got all the lore with the Ascended, I doubt that we will get another Targonian. Also, some people said that maybe this could be like a aspect of nature, and to that I will say not really, because that would kind of go against Taric, because Taric is like the protector of living beings and, you know, the protector of nature. So I don't think there will be a aspect of nature, because we already have the Guardian or the Protector or whatever you would want to call Taric. But just I would say that this champion might be connected to something totally else. It might be flowers in the oasis of Shurima. It might be the flowers that grow on the Shadow Isles, because if you look at this sign again and then we have a look at our map, you may notice that the Shadow Isles symbol actually does kind of look similar to that. You'll probably see better, you know, when you look at that small version, but still, it is possible that we will finally get a connection to Maokai. Finally. But other than that, it could be Demacian as well, because there is a connection to Fiora. I will show you in a second. There it is. You can see that Fiora herself has like a circle with little spikes around and a rose in the middle. So it could be Demacian as well. There's just like so many. I know you are not getting anything from what I'm saying here, but there are just so many possible connections. So let's just move forward. Let's have a look at what else is coming. So Nunu is getting a visual rework. Nunu and Willump are getting a brand new look. We know this because if we have a look at the old post that Riot posted, you know, the old roadmap, this is kind of a visual representation of what they will look like. And you can see that Willump has some like runic tattoos on him, even though I wouldn't say they are really runic. I don't think they will be magical, but it's some kind of a humanoid creature now with like tribe tattoos, maybe. And Nunu, just a small boy. You can see he will have a little orange cloak, assuming that, you know, this old concept will still stay true. But they said that they will keep his absolute zero, his ultimate, which I talked about in the old roadmap. I said that his ultimate, the ultimate of Nunu, is the one thing that they need to keep, because it's just so iconic to just stay in a bush and kind of, you know, unload your ultimate and try to catch people. However, Riot said that it is really hard. I believe it's somewhere in the middle. Riot said that it is really hard to actually catch people in his ultimate, so they will try and change the way that you target people with his ultimate. But Absolute Zero should stay the same as it was before. They also said that they will keep his consume the same, which is, you know, it is also very iconic because Nunu was always a powerful jungler when it came to just fast clears on single targets, and that's because he could just chomp everything. But I don't think there is a single mention of his Q. And now, if we have a look at this picture, first of all, Nunu has an awesome new hat. If they don't sell this as merch, that will be a failure. You can also see the bag in which Nunu will probably sit. That's, you know, I believe, yes, even in the old model, Nunu or Willump had a backpack on his back, and that's where Nunu was. So that's gonna stay the same. But most importantly, right here on the left side, you can notice something that kind of looks like a sword, but it has holes in it, which means it's a flute. It has even a hole at the bottom, so it is a flute because, let's be honest, Nunu he will probably be charming Willump, and that's how he will control him. But outside of it just being a flute, you can see a little ice at the bottom. Now we can assume this is true ice, which means that there will be some magic involved, and this is where I believe we could get some Qs happening, because his current Qs is that Willump is just spitting ice forward. That's everything that's happening. What can happen now is that maybe Nunu will be using this flute to spawn the snowballs, or maybe he will just like cast like an ice lance or something like that. Anyway, his flute will have some form of magic hidden inside it, but I don't think there will be any corruption happening. I don't think there will be connection to Lissandra, hopefully. Or actually no, why not? Because at least we'll get some more connections to the Watchers, which now were kinda revealed in the Rise cinematic, so maybe we'll get some more connections to that as well. But outside of this, I think that's all that I can really mention here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. You can see an avalanche in the background. I'm not sure if that's a hint as to what's happening here. Oh, wait, I didn't even notice. There is a footprint in the front of that picture. Oh, I didn't notice. That's a footprint of Nunu. Sorry, Willump, not Nunu. Nunu would be far bigger than that if that was the case. But yes. So that's Nunu. So his Q will probably be different, and his Blood Boil will also get some changes. Now we move forward onto the next one, which is Ezreal. And now Ezreal, they mentioned that they will have a new voice. And when it comes to his voice, I hope, and I really hope, they will keep his voice lines like, you know, you belong in a museum, and Noxians, I hate those guys, and, you know, who needs a map? Those quotes need to stay there, alright? And I wonder if Ezreal will have some interactions with Lux, because Lux has always been really sassy when it came to Ezreal, so I don't know if Ezreal will kind of like, you know, if he will try to get actually Lux, or if he will, you know, be sassy on that as well. I don't know. But visually, because we know that there will be also a visual update, visually it is possible that one, because Ezreal is originally from Piltover, it is possible that they will keep his old classy Piltover clothing, but it is also possible that because Ezreal has been excavating in Shurima for so long now, it is possible that Ezreal will kinda adapt to their clothing, so it is possible that Ezreal will now have Shuriman clothing as well. Now, I would personally prefer if he had Piltover clothes with the glove that came from the tomb of Nezuk. Obviously, this is the glove. It is, as I said, it is from a tomb of a ascended mage. I believe he was described as a horned person, which means is a horned ascended, maybe like a goat or a ram, and his name was Nezuk. And this is one of the gloves. We know that the other glove is still somewhere in the world. We know that this is Ezreal's because it is the left glove, which is the one that he is wearing. The right one is the one that's lost. Now, they said that one thing that they really want to change is his W. And later they said that, you know, he is a very iconic marksman. And there it is. And they say that his theme is being a spell slinger, which makes sense. He's kinda shooting as if from gun, even though he doesn't have a gun. He just, you know, can point a finger, and that's how he kinda shoots. But, you know, the classic spell slinger in fantasy, that's exactly what Ezreal should be. And he's lining up shots and knocking them down. Which to me kinda seems that maybe hitting W will empower your next Q if you hit the same target. As in, maybe his W will now mark targets, because that's how he is taking aim, and if you then land Q, that will take, his target will then take bonus damage. That would be brilliant way to execute Ezreal, because you would kind of turn him into a marksman that has to prepare the target for his Qs. And on top of that, this will kind of fix the issue where Ezreal can just keep poking. Because now, if his W was empowering his Qs, you will always have to land your W before you land your Q. And that will kind of get rid of the annoying playstyle where Ezreal just has so much mana and so much damage that he can just keep spamming Qs. So I think that would be a win-win scenario. Let's see if they actually do that. But now let's have a look at the image. His glove obviously was updated to mimic Shuriman technology more than the old Piltover version that he has right now. We can see on the right side there are the amulets that are actually part of the, you know, in-game items. You can see all the different coins around. There are coins that have the sun disk on them, and that's because these coins are ancient. We know that because Ezreal is just excavating tombs after tombs, so we know that he will have definitely a lot of really old items. And there are also like different kinds of coins. You can see at in the middle up there, it's just a little circle. Now that might be either like a connecting ring, like an artifact, or it might be a coin. This could be a coin that is used in the old stripes. So take that for what it is. At least we know that the glove was updated to kind of reflect the Shuriman look. Now that's it for Ezreal. Now we go forward and we have a look at Morgana and Kail. Finally, we got more information on these two, and I will just tell you right now that they are scheduled for early next year. So it will be a while till we get Kail and Morgana, but we do have some information. On Morgana, they will try to update her passive and her W. This kind of makes sense because Morgana's passive is really old. It basically has no interactions. It does nothing apart from sustaining you. And her W, you know, the little circle on the ground, while it is effective, it is an old design. It has really no interactions outside of land your Q, pop your W below that. And if you don't land your Q, you are basically wasting your W. So I kinda understand that they want to give Morgana more interactions on her W as well. On Kail, apparently Kail will be getting a bigger rework when it comes to her kit, because they want to keep her identity of being like a hybrid melee and ranged champion at the beginning of the game. And as the game progresses, later she will become a massive powerhouse when it comes to ranged attacks. So it is possible that because Kail is now this ascended, you know, warrior of Targon. I'll show you what I mean by that. We know that Ascension is part of her character, because if I have a look at Aatrox, if you remember, Aatrox had some quotes against Kail.
Let me show you your error, Kail. You are not worthy of Ascension. You are not worthy of the Worms.
See, Aatrox is kind of revealing that the Ascension is a big thing for Kail. So it is possible that as the game progresses forward, Kail will actually ascend to a greater form, and that's when she will become a powerhouse. I would love it if we got another evolving champion, something like the Pulsefire Ezreal skin, where as the game progresses forward, you actually get, like, you know, more armored and you look better. But in the form of Kail, that would actually translate into her power as well. I would love that. And so they say right here that and as the game goes on, ascends to become a ranged powerhouse, raining down holy judgment on any she deems unworthy. So, story-wise, it seems like they are getting a new theme. Now, we know that Morgana and Kail, if we have a look at Demacia, we know that both of them are right here, Morgana and Kail. They are now connected to Demacia. And the story behind that, as it was teased in other forms of text, the story behind this is that Morgana and Kail are both from Targon, and we don't know if it is that they are, you know, aspects, or if they are from the real Targon, which is the Heavenly City. That's what I believe, because we know that there are winged people. We know that from the story of Leona, where she met this horned, winged, demonic, like, holy being. So we know that there are some kind of angels in the Holy City of Targon. So it would make sense that Kail and Morgana were both there, and they actually decided to bind themselves to Runeterra, or at least they both decided to bind their physical forms to the planet Runeterra, and that would mean that they would probably bind themselves to Demacia, because why else would they be here? We don't have a lot more information on this, but some people think that they might be like the real founders of Demacia. That's not the case, because Poppy and Orlon were there when Demacia was founded, so that wouldn't really line up with the story. But at least we now know that there will be a connection to Demacia, and we now know that they are both from Targon. You can kind of see, you know, the stars and space and just the heavenly theme that's going on here. And you can also see that Morgana will definitely get updated chains. Like, it's almost like star chains, and I wonder if these chains are just showing the fact that they are binding themselves to the physical realms. But that's gonna be it for those two. As I said, they will come early next year, so it's still a while till we get them. But now onto the last part of this post. Also, I should quickly mention, by the way, that Kail and Morgana will be designed by Riot August. And he is famous for designing champions with 3-hit passives. And also, he didn't design a champion for 2.5 years. So now coming back to, you know, developing a champion, or 2 champions in this case, we should wait for getting something really cool. Because usually when a developer has a break from designing a champion, and then when they come back, they usually bring in something really unique. So we can expect some interesting interactions with Kail and Morgana. But now, on to the last part of this post, which is second teaser for a new champion. Now, this is interesting, because all this just says that besides the colorful mage that is currently in hiding, we have another new, by the way, in hiding, hopefully. Oh, no more stealth, no! We have another new champion locked away with no release date in sight. Now, this could also be a play of words. No release date in sight could be just a play of words where this champion is locked away, and, you know, they can't see the light of day. Possibly, but, you know, again, in this teaser image, you can kind of see that there is light, so maybe not. But okay, the important thing here is that we have a pillar on the right side, and that pillar is all we need to kind of determine what kind of place this is. Originally, I thought that this might be another Ionian, or at least that person might be locked in Ionia, because when you have a look at Navori, or you can kind of see that the pillars look similar-ish, but then I realized that you can see that these pillars are more resembling of nature and, like, you know, the free flow of nature that's here. And if you have a look at the image, you can see that's not happening here. That is definitely not happening here. Therefore, it could be only one other place, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a champion from Demacia. Because if you look at the structures in Demacia, especially this room, you can see that the structures are very similar. You can see how the pillars are white and the floor are, you know, polished and reflective. If you have a look at these halls of valor, they look very similar, and golden chains on top of that. My bet is that this champion is locked in Demacia. I don't think the champion is from Demacia. I think the champion is locked in Demacia, and that is a massive difference, because maybe this was a magical being, and that this magical being was then locked in Demacia because Demacia is dampening magic. So in here, this champion wouldn't have as much power. It is also worthy of mentioning that the chains that you can see on this image are very long. And so if they wanted to restrain this champion from moving, the chains would be much shorter. You can see that this champion will definitely be able to move around. So maybe either this champion was already freed and now it is dragging the chains behind them, because you can see that these chains are like dragging on the floor, or this champion can freely move around because they are actually protecting something. That is also possible. Now, the last thing that I want to mention here, I don't know if you will be able to see this on capture, but this champion has high heels. That definitely to me looks like high heels. So we are dealing with woman likely. The last thing that I should mention are the chains. Now, these chains do remind me of something, and that one is kind of these chains on the Pentakill Sona, but I believe that's just coincidence. That is just coincidence. If you guys know of any other chains that are like this spiky, because I believe I've seen them somewhere and I don't know where. But these chains do remind me of something, and I can't really place the finger on what that is. Also, you can kind of see that like there's a circle theme along the bottom of the floor. That's probably just a reflection. I don't think, you know, we should really come to any conclusions on this. But that's gonna be it for this post, and that's gonna be it for this video. So, just quick recap, we got a champion that I have no idea where this champion could be from, but it's not Ionia. I think the flowers are a little bit deceiving. We have Nunu, which has a flute, because he's probably going to be charming Willump. We then have Ezreal with updated theme, where the glove finally has Shuriman theme, and hopefully he will keep his Piltover clothes. And then we have Kail and Morgana, both designed by one person, and they have brand new themes. And finally, we have a brand new champion on top of the colorful mage. So we got a lot of stuff that is happening, and I am glad that we are getting more visual reworks than champions, because there are still champions like Cho'Gath, Malphite, Kog'Maw. There are so many champions that seriously need visual updates, and I can't wait till Riot goes for that and shows us what those champions would look in their new light. So with that, thank you guys so much for being here. Of course, massive shout out to our patrons. You know how this works. I am working on more lore. Don't worry, I am now trying to cover the origin story of Brand, and we also have the brand new Ionian stories, and now we have a Syndra story on the universe. Bibbidi boopity boop. This is a brand new story that came out 2 days ago. So yeah, that will also happen. So again, thank you so much for being here, and I guess as always, thank you, come again.